The Federal Reserve Bank just hit the reset button, and most Americans have no idea what that actually means for their money. Now, on December 1st, the Federal Reserve quietly ended quantitative tightening, and within 24 hours, they're already back to doing what they always do when the system starts cracking, printing money. Now, this is not a theory, this is not speculation, this is policy. Now, under Donald J. Trump, the United States is inheriting an economy where the Fed has decided that the only solution to slowing growth, fragile jobs, and mounting pressure is to flood the system with new dollars. And when that happens, history already tells us exactly what comes next. Your dollars lose power, and so, well, while your dollars are losing power, while you're working harder and saving more, and you're wondering why life feels more expensive every single year, Wall Street at the exact same time is watching asset prices rise. Gold is flashing warning signs, Bitcoin is heating up again, and the exact same institutions that told you that inflation was temporary, they're quietly positioning for what comes next. And this is what's most important. If you're watching the show right now, make sure you watch until the very end, because what comes next, this will be the determining factor for which families survive and which ones don't. Now, this is not about politics. This is purely about math. This is about money, guys. This is about whether you're on the side that gets diluted or you're on the side that benefits when the printers turn back on. So stick with me, guys, because once you see how this reset really works, you can't unsee it. Be sure to hit the like button if you appreciate videos that are informative and educational like this one. I take my time to make sure that everyone understands what's happening. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you guys. So let's go ahead and name the culprit right away. The Federal Reserve Bank. You may have heard of them. Drop a yes if you're familiar with the Fed. Now, on December 1st, 2025, Federal Reserve officially ended quantitative tightening. Then, on December 2nd, it didn't hesitate. It injected over $13 billion directly into the financial system. This is not a minor adjustment. This is a reset, folks. This is not about some boring technical tweak. This is the Central Bank of the United States deciding that the value of your dollar is less important than keeping the system running. And this reset is happening as Donald J. Trump begins his second term, inheriting a monetary system that's already stretched, distorted, and addicted to liquidity. Every time the Fed flips the switch, it quietly attacks purchasing power. Mark my words, savings weaken, wages fall behind, and most people don't even realize it until the prices rise and life feels a little bit more tighter. And the reset isn't announced with sirens. It just shows up later in your grocery bill, in your rent, and your ability to get ahead. And what happens next tells you everything you need to know. After the initial $13 billion injection, the Federal Reserve Bank committed to creating roughly $40 billion every single month. That's not emergency support, that is sustained money creation. And Wall Street heard one message loud and clear: risk is back on. Now, here's the part that most people miss. When the Fed prints money, it doesn't land evenly across the economy. The first recipients are the banks, institutions, and asset holders. The last people to feel it are the workers and consumers. And this, my friends, is by design. After prices have already moved higher, that delay is the transfer. So Wall Street positions early, asset prices rise. Meanwhile, everyday Americans, they feel the squeeze later when those new dollars chase the same goods. This is why markets celebrate when households struggle. The printer doesn't save everyone at once. It rewards proximity to capital first. And this is the moment where people start asking the uncomfortable question. Because when the Federal Reserve Bank turns the printers back on, stress doesn't just hit the dollar, it hits the banking system too. I mean, you've probably already noticed it already. Banks wobbling, liquidity issues, quiet closures, government backstops that are really just promises stacked on top of promises. I don't trust promises like that. I don't know about you. So here's a real question nobody on TV wants to answer. What happens to your savings if your bank makes the wrong bet? This is exactly why I partnered with Noble Gold Investments. They help Americans move part of their savings or retirement into real physical gold and silver, not paper IOUs, not digital entities, not assets that depend on someone else keeping their word. Actual metals that you own. And when people see how simple it is, they almost always say the same thing. Well, that makes sense. And folks, this is why thousands of Americans are already calling the phone number right here at the bottom of your screen, or they're clicking the link down below in the description of this video, going to RonYatesGold.com to get their free wealth protection kit. Because when the system starts shaking, smart money doesn't wait for confirmation. It moves first. So here's what the Federal Reserve Bank never explains clearly. When you create more dollars, you don't create more wealth. You actually just spread the same value across a larger pile of currency. That, my friends, is called dilution. And dilution means every dollar quietly loses strength. So I want you to think about it this way. If the economy had a fixed amount of goods, services, homes, food, energy, and labor, and suddenly tens of billions of new dollars are injected, those dollars compete for the same things. Nothing magical appears. Prices adjust upward instead. This, my friends, is exactly why your paycheck doesn't feel like it goes further, even if the number on it is bigger. Does that make sense? And so this is the silent part. There's no announcement for this. There's no warning label. You just wake up one morning wondering why saving feels pointless and why getting ahead feels harder and harder every single year. Am I making sense to anybody else? Does anyone resonate with what I'm saying right now? Drop a yes for me, guys. And so that confusion right there isn't accidental. It is the delayed effect of monetary dilution finally reaching Main Street. Now, to really understand why this keeps on happening, you have to go back to Richard Nixon and the year 1971. That is when the United States officially abandoned the gold standard. Anyone remember that in history, in the history books? Some of you may be old enough to remember that. Well, before that moment, every dollar had to be backed by something real. Gold acted as a brake on money printing. And this is why gold is so valuable. Once that brake was removed, the Federal Reserve Bank gained the ability to create unlimited currency. The immediate problem was solved. Government bills could be paid. But the long-term consequence was inflation, which exploded throughout the 1970s. This was a completely different decade, but the same mechanics. Now, if we fast forward to 2020 through 2025, and the pattern repeats, but it repeats faster. Technology accelerates everything. Markets move instantly. Money is created digitally. The difference now isn't that this is new, it's that the cycle compresses. So what took years in the 1970s now unfolds in a matter of months. This is where the system's imbalance becomes impossible to ignore. When the Federal Reserve Bank expands liquidity, Wall Street benefits first. Asset prices respond almost immediately. Stocks, funds, and speculative assets move higher long before wages ever adjust. Workers, on the other hand, workers live on fixed timelines, annual raises, cost of living adjustments, or COLAs that lag reality. Even when salaries go up, they rarely keep pace with the speed at which prices rise after new money enters the system. This, my friends, is exactly why raises don't solve the problem. They arrive late and they fall short. Now, this is not a bug, it's the system's design. The monetary system rewards ownership over labor. Investors capture the upside created by money printing. Meanwhile, wage earners absorb the higher cost of living. The result is frustration, confusion, and the feeling that hard work just isn't paying off anymore. That feeling is rational. The rules changed quietly. And so when trust in currency weakens, people look for anchors. This is why gold starts drawing attention whenever aggressive money creation returns. Gold doesn't generate cash flow. It doesn't innovate. It just sits there. And that's the exact point. Historically, gold performs the best when confidence in fiat currency or fiat money erodes. It acts as a hedge, not because it creates value, but because it preserves purchasing power when paper currency loses credibility. Conservative financial voices are sounding alarms left and right now because the signs are very familiar. The signals are displaying themselves. Rising debt, expanding money supply, policymakers choosing liquidity over restraint. Gold's movement is not about optimism. It's about caution. It reflects growing doubt that the central banks can print endlessly without consequence. So when investors shift toward gold, they're not betting on growth. They're insuring against the policy risk. And that, my friends, that shift tells you more about fear than hype. And so this is where Bitcoin enters the conversation, and it's very important to be precise. Bitcoin is not gold. Gold is ancient. Bitcoin is experimental, but they do react to the same trigger: distrust in fiat currency created by the Federal Reserve Bank. Now, Bitcoin's appeal comes from one simple contrast. The Fed, they can create dollars endlessly. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. Now, the difference alone right there explains why Bitcoin reacts violently to money printing. When liquidity floods the market, speculative capital looks for scarcity, and Bitcoin sits right in the crosshairs. Now, let's be honest. Let's be very clear here, guys. Bitcoin is volatile. It's speculative. It has not proven itself across centuries the way that gold has. It just hasn't had the time to do so. But momentum doesn't care about comfort. When narratives shift toward dollar weakness, Bitcoin heats up real fast. This is why you're seeing extreme price projections circulating again. I mean, they are not promises. They are reflections of how aggressively capital moves when confidence cracks. And so here's the wild card most people underestimate. This cycle is not the same as 2020 because of AI. Okay? Back then, stimulus created jobs. Today, stimulus collides with automation. Companies can now grow profits without growing payrolls. As the Federal Reserve Bank injects liquidity, businesses don't need to hire the way they used to. AI replaces tasks faster than stimulus can create employment. And so that means that profits can rise without job growth stalls. That is a very dangerous disconnect. This matters because the Fed's traditional playbook assumes money printing leads to hiring. But when technology absorbs labor demand, that assumption breaks. The result is a system where asset owners win twice, once from liquidity and then again from cost savings, while workers are left behind. This is why 2026 feels completely different. The Fed is stimulating markets, not livelihoods, and that gap creates pressure that the system hasn't fully priced in yet. So here's how this plays out in the real world. When the Federal Reserve Bank floods the system with new money, prices rise across the economy. Consumers feel it immediately. Groceries cost more, household goods cost more, everyday life just simply becomes more expensive. But the companies selling those goods, they don't suffer, they benefit. I mean, just look at Apple, Amazon, and Walmart, for example. Higher prices means higher revenues. These companies pass increased costs to consumers while maintaining or even expanding their profit margins. I mean, this is just a capitalistic society and how it works. Workers may get some modest raises, but shareholders capture the real upside. This is why inflation functions like a transfer mechanism. Money flows from consumers to corporations and from corporations to investors. The public pays more just to stand still. Ownership collects, and because this process is gradual, most people never even realize that they're the ones that are funding the gains in this wealth transfer. And this is exactly where people get hit from the other direction that they never see coming. A man assumed that his extra $90 a month was just a part of life, just inflation, just the way that things are now. Well, I hate to tell you, but it wasn't. It was a bad Medicare plan. And so by the end of the year, that quiet leak added up to over $1,000 gone. No fraud, no scam, just fine print doing exactly what it was designed to do. This is the same story that we've been talking about this entire video. Small, invisible drains that compound while you're focused on everything else. This is why I partner with Chapter, folks. Chapter helps you identify where your Medicare coverage is quietly draining money you cannot afford to lose, especially at a time when the dollar itself is under pressure. Now, most people are already dialing the phone number right there at the bottom of your screen, 909-563-8279, or they're visiting askchapter.org/Ron to have their coverage reviewed because number one, it's totally free. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose, because when the system is squeezing from every angle, the smartest move isn't earning more, it's stopping the silent losses first. So this is the part that confuses people the most. If life feels harder, then why do markets keep climbing, right? Well, the answer is liquidity. When the Federal Reserve Bank creates money, it doesn't flow evenly. It concentrates in assets. This is why the S&P 500 can rise even while households struggle. Broad market funds like BITR, the SPDR, S&P 500 ETF Trust, they benefit directly from this dynamic. More dollars chasing stocks pushes valuations higher, regardless of whether everyday expenses feel manageable. Markets respond to money supply, not to grocery bills. This disconnect creates frustration. People just assume that markets reflect economic health, but they mostly reflect monetary conditions. And so when liquidity expands, asset prices inflate. That's why the stock market has been going up. That's not optimism, it's mechanics. And until people understand that difference, the rising market will continue to feel disconnected from real life. So here's the key difference between panic and preparation. Smart money doesn't guess tops. You understand that? I want to say that again. Smart money does not guess tops and bottoms. It watches policy. And right now, the Federal Reserve Bank is telling you exactly what direction the current is flowing. Liquidity is expanding. That changes how capital behaves. So this is not about day trading or chasing hype. This is about positioning. Passive strategies like consistent investing work because they align with long-term money flows, not with headlines. Dollar cost averaging removes emotion and it lets time do the work for you. So when capital enters market steadily, assets absorb it. What matters most is not predictions, it's exposure. Capital flows toward assets that can absorb inflation and liquidity. This is why investors focus on systems and not noise. Preparation means understanding where money is going before it shows up in prices. Panic waits for confirmation. Positioning moves quietly and early and without drama. Now let's go ahead and bring this full circle. The Fed didn't just tweak policy. The Federal Reserve Bank hit reset, and resets always create winners and losers. There's no neutral outcome. You're either protected protected from dilution or you absorb it. And when money printing resumes, savers pay the price. Cash loses power, wages lag, but investors benefit from rising asset values. That is the forced choice baked into the system. And under President Donald J. Trump, this monetary reality isn't disappearing overnight. In fact, the system is too dependent on liquidity itself. Ignoring this doesn't preserve safety, it guarantees losses. You don't have to love the system to understand it, but you do have to respect how it works, because whether it's President Donald J. Trump in office or any other president, when the printer turns on, doing nothing isn't neutral, it's a decision, and the reset has already begun.